We got some games shutting down and some layoffs to talk about, but first, we've got two very big IPs that are meeting. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up, Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, January 31st, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Like I said, the big thing happening this week was the long awaited mashup between Halo and Call of Duty. Yes, both are covered by the Microsoft umbrella now that they own Activision Blizzard. We can get some Halo in Call of Duty, and that is coming to us in the form of grunts. No, I'm kidding. It is maps. Apparently, some of the Halo maps are going to be converted into Call of Duty maps, and you can be able to run around and shoot people the normal deathmatch in Call of Duty, but you're going to be doing it on Halo maps. So, I'm curious. I'm curious, like how much balancing there needs to be done, but yeah, I always thought some of the pretty cool. There was always some pretty cool maps associated with Halo, and there's obviously the infamous Battle Gulch, which I hope that they bring in. But yeah, I just I think a lot of people were kind of expecting beam swords and uh, yeah, hammers and other kind of crazy stuff for just a Master Chief skin, but no, I guess they're converting some maps. So more maps for your Call of Duty, please. Moving right along, Hogwarts Legacy, after hitting 30 million units sold, is quite a phenomenal feat. They're finally opening it up for mod support, so players can finally put Thomas the Tank Engine in their Hogwarts. They're giving people the keys to the kingdom, so to say. Yeah, I've already seen a grotesque Shrek that someone has modded their broom into. So all sorts of crazy stuff is going to be happening, and probably some not good stuff is going to be happening as well. But Hogwarts Legacy, has mod support now. So I wonder if those will get transferred over to consoles anytime soon. Now let's talk about some new games. Game I'm very excited for coming out in the next couple months is Split Fiction, the next game from Hazelight. It was announced back at the Game Awards. We got a longer, more extended kind of gameplay trailer. They showed a little bit of gameplay last month at the Game Awards, but yeah, now they have a longer gameplay trailer, and man, I'm really just kind of I think they're I think Hazelight's like approach is very cool, and the way they kind of mix and blend genres and give you small bites to like just keep you on your feet and always guessing and changing perspective and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a really well designed game. Having played It Takes Two, like that was definitely a love letter to video games, and there was a lot of genre blending and mashing in that as well. But yeah, the gameplay where like you're on a motorbike and you're like racing and it's all futuristic, and then you're shape shifting into monsters in a fantasy world. Like, yeah, I think they just always keep you on your toes, and I don't think nothing ever kind of outstays its welcome. So yeah, I just think they're really great co-op games, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's coming out on March 6th, so just around the corner. Like I said, we have some games shutting down. Multiverses, after a rocky start where they went down for a little close to a year, I think. They went back online middle of last year, and now, according to a report, they after their next season, season 5, they will be shutting down for good. So the servers will be closing on May 30th. And you will be able to play in offline mode, but there will be no more servers for you to play, your Warner Brothers themed Smash Brothers game, uh, unless it's on your console and you want to play locally. So, unfortunately, we got to see that. Also, unfortunately, there was a massive amount of Dragon Age layoffs. So a lot of the writers and a lot of the creatives behind Dragon Age were laid off this week. This was coming on the back of the news that the game Veilguard was about 50% to expectation, and based on internet estimates, there was like 2 million units sold, so they were kind of expecting four. As someone who's played mostly through the game, I think it's um, there's a lot of cost cutting measures, so I assume that brought it down from needing $7 or $8 million to break even to what I would think, lowering the costs, but ultimately, yeah, I think that people wanted a grand adventure, and that resulted in a lack of players. So it's unfortunate. I think I did read in the same article or some other articles about it that some people were able to transfer over to like the next Mass Effect title. So some people did get a cushy landing onto a different team, but a lot of more people just been laid off. And as we've seen with games layoffs, like that usually leads to people just leaving the industry, and that's unfortunate. Dragon Age, I think, is a popular IP, and eventually EA will probably bring someone into or BioWare will probably bring someone in to try again, but I feel like they're closing the books on this for a little bit, so that's unfortunate. Moving right along, there was a study based on cozy games that prove that they are good for you. I thought that was quite interesting. The survey took place over the course of 2020 to 2022, and it said that playing a cozy game for like an hour a day is much akin to like meditation. So as much as relaxation and meditation and self-reflection can help you, so too can a cozy game. So if I do the math right, like this seems like they're talking exclusively about Animal Crossing New Horizons. Also, that puts it very much in COVID time, which I think anything besides existing in the world, the COVID, the early COVID days, is probably going to help de-stress you. But the fact that cozy games do it the best is pretty cool. So, not really, uh, not really telling us gamers anything that we didn't already know. That you going into Zen or I forget the actual the word is for like entering the zone is good for you, and it helps you. It's something we already knew, so excited to see that people are out there trying to prove it. Nintendo, mostly known for their non-protective measures and their, not being very concerned at all with people infringing on their IP. Oh wait, I'm lying. They went after a Costa Rican family business that's been around for 52 years because it was funnily named Super Mario Mart, and even though the Costa Rican family, it was named after, I guess, the store owner's father, whose name is Mario. Yeah, they Nintendo went after them and lost, as they should. If I do my math right again, I think that this would predate Mario as we know him on the Nintendo. So yeah, I think it's kind of funny that Nintendo went after a random family business in Costa Rica over the name Super Mario, and they ended up winning. So good on betting on the underdog on that one. A pretty weird and interesting smartwatch is taking the weird approach to with a lot of analog buttons. So this Apollo smartwatch that I saw this week that I thought looked kind of cool and interesting. It's very much uh, inspired by like Apollo missions, and it's got a lot of buttons on it, and it was just really unique and analog for a smartwatch. So that thing caught my eye, and the one thing that makes it exciting for me is it gets us one step closer to having a Pip Boy, even though Pip Boys are touchscreens, so like everybody knows touchscreens are better than these like weird analog buttons that are gonna break and no longer be usable. But it's an interesting smartwatch. I don't remember what the price tag was, so you'll have to check that out for yourself. I'll have a link down below so you can check it out. A cool game caught my eye this week called Directorate Novitiate. And it mixes something that doesn't always mix well, guns and magic. In fact, it plays a lot like Control, which I think did that kind of blend of like supernatural plus guns very well. Apparently, the character runs around and is able to like combine some magic and then like actually like change the world, and looks like there's a little bit of telekinesis, and you can empower your bullets and stuff like that. So it all looked pretty cool and very Control-esque for those who like Control. Yeah, and the game was called Directorate Novitiate. So look for that. One final piece of sad news this week: Wayne June, the infamous voice of Darkest Dungeon, as the narrator, dude with a very deep voice, who definitely feels like he is summoning Cthulhu every time he spoke. Yeah, Wayne June has died. So that is unfortunate to hear this week. And someone who's spent many an hour in both of the Darkest Dungeon games, yeah, it's very sad. He had a great voice, and I would have loved to hear him doing more. So I'll have to go back and find some audiobooks with that he read, because that's also something that he did. And I can listen to some Cthulhian stories, or go play Darkest Dungeon 1 and 2. So there you go. There's your call to action. Go play some Darkest Dungeon 1 and 2, and marvel at Wayne June's wonderfully and lovely voice. But that's it for this week. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below in the comments. As always, I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend, and I hope you have a super day. Bye.